So, today we're going to be making pizza dough and hypothetically later on pizza, but this takes a little while to rest, so we gotta start this early. It's a really easy recipe. It's just yeast, salt, sugar, olive oil, flour, and water. I've got everything already laid out, and it's basically like 3 steps. First step, you mix everything but the flour. Second step, you add the flour. And third step, you let it rest. So, let's get on to step number 1. So step number 1, we're going to have our, I believe this is the sugar. So sugar, salt, there's 1 tablespoon each of those. And then we're going to add a tablespoon and a half of yeast. And we have, probably going to add the water next. We have 2 3/4 cups of room temperature water. Get that all nice and frothy and bubbly. And then lastly we have 1/4 cup of olive oil. So that's going to be a mess, but that's fine. Let's get us a spoon. So there we go. We'll just mix everything but the flour. The yeast isn't going to like disappear or anything, but we want to get everything all nice and evenly mixed together before we get the flour in there, just because there's a lot of flour and we don't want to separate all these ingredients too much. We kind of want to have them all evenly distributed. So just give that a good stir. It's going to look kind of muddy, but that's fine. Alright. Second step, add flour and stir until completely mixed. So I'm going to add it a little bit at a time, because there's quite a bit. There is 6.5 cups of flour. This will actually make around 4 pizzas. And you can also just make this into flatbread. You don't have to actually put like toppings on it. You can just put little like bumps in the bread. Put some garlic or olive oil or some herbs or something. But today we're going to make pizza. And all that little bubbling noise is good because it means the yeast is activated. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Alright. I mostly just don't want to try and stir this and scoop it up all over my face, so we're still taking it nice and slow, and we've got a nice big bowl. I think the biggest thing to remember when doing this is to put the flour, if you're measuring it out beforehand, to put the flour in the smaller of the 2 bowls, because you want to add it to the wet stuff, not the other way around. And it's going to be a real pain in the butt if you put the flour in the big bowl and then suddenly you're trying to mix everything into a smaller bowl. Right. Starting to get squidgy, which is good. I think I'm supposed to stir everything all one way, and I always forget. Now it's actually starting to resemble dough. Good thing is we don't really have to worry about working this on a board or anything, so we're just going to be leaving it in the bowl after it's fully mixed. Last lot of flour. Once this is completely mixed in, we're going to cover it lightly and rest for 2 hours. Try to make sure you get all the flour off the edges. None of it can hide from me. And you definitely got to check the bottom. Don't want that pocket of dry flour popping up at the end. But it looks like we've got it pretty good. Everything's pretty well mixed in right now. Getting a little difficult to stir. I think we're pretty much done now. Looks like it's mostly tearing rather than actually stirring. So we're going to cover this lightly, rest it for 2 hours, and then when we're done, we can either bake it or portion it into freezer bags, put a little bit of olive oil in, and freeze it to use later. Alright, so we actually ended up leaving the dough overnight because it wasn't quite as warm in the house as I expected. We put it in the drying cupboard, and you can see this is the level that the dough actually did get to. It has since kind of fallen down, but you can see like all the little bubbles in there. So this is good. It's very, 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 very sticky though. And generally, I usually make 4 portions from this, so we're not going to use all of it. But as I said before, we can just kind of put it away with some olive oil and it'll be totally fine. But to use this today, we're going to need to use some ingenuity and some flour. It's like, I have to dive in. It's so, okay, I just got to do it. So I'm going to kind of, oh God, this is the problem. It's too sticky. That's fine though. I know it's going to be too sticky. So I'm just going to give myself a line and a line. And oh, we're gonna go for it. Oh, I made a terrible mistake. I should have got out some flour first. Oh no. Tim! I didn't get out flour first. Can you put out some flour for me? Alright, so this is what we have. It's a sticky mess. It's actually really fun to play with though, so that's a bonus. Had to take a small break to get some flour out. Oh gosh. Oh, I've made so many mistakes in my life right now. Okay, we're gonna just add in a bit of flour, a little bit at a time. I'm reasonably certain it wasn't this gooey last time I made it, but it's okay. It's okay. We're just gonna add some more flour. And as we add some flour, we'll actually be able to work this, and it'll be great. I like the smell of dough. I really like the smell of dough. So mistakes were made, but I think we've got it back to kind of where we need it to be. It's a bit sticky still, but that's good. And we've got some flour going on here. Got our workspace. And we're going to try and basically get it looking a little bit more like a pizza now. And just evenly kind of roll it out. So this is about the size that we're going to be needing. The rest is just more about finesse and making sure it's not stuck to the countertop, as always. So we're going to just kind of press it down and give it a bit of a crust. Alright, so it's pretty much where we want it to be. It's going to be a little squidgy, but that's fine. We're just going to transfer this to the pan. We're going to bake it for a little under 4 minutes just to get it so the crust is a bit more firm. And then we're going to put on the ingredients and cook it for the rest of the time. Okay, so time to put on some ingredients, and then we'll pop it back into the oven. No. It'll be fine. It's just a lot of crust. Alright, in hindsight, I would have probably used like half as much dough. The dough and the crust is a little bit thick, but it still looks really yummy. And probably more ingredients, but it does look delicious, and with practice, it'll probably be really amazing. But for now, it's passable, and it's pizza, and I'm gonna eat it.